my light to come back. I want to see my face. I want to know who I really am. I want to really know who I am. I want to return to that place inside me. That's not a facade. That's the real light. And once you have the light, it shines, it shines, it shines. And that's bringing back, so to speak, Hashem's dream, that we should shine. We're giving Hashem back His dream that He had by the creation of the world, if we could even say such things. Hashem had a dream that we should shine. So we're, so to speak, giving that to Hashem. Sometimes you hear, what can you do for an infinite God? Nothing. Whack. Yeah, it's true. But in some deep, crazy, far out, Kabbalistic way, there's no king without a people. And at some level, we are crowning the king. We're giving the king the ability, so to speak, to be a king down here, to have a vision down here in this world. Something that we can do. And that king has a vision, has a dream. And we're giving Hashem His dream back. And we're doing all the fixing of the spies, and we're doing all the fixing of the Eight Das. And there's a lot of things we're fixing here. The fight between Yaakov and Esav. That whole fight, by the way, Yaakov goes over the river and he realizes what? That he forgot something. He forgot the Pachim Ketanim. He forgot this little jug over there. And he goes back over and he sees the Sar Shel Esav. And they're wrestling. And then the Sar Shel Esav jabs him in the lower left Achilles heel. And he's wounded. But he makes it out alive. Why was this so threatening to him exactly at that moment? Because what was Yaakov going back for? The jar of oil from Hanukkah. That was the jar of oil. The whole fight is that will we have pure oil? And the Sar Shel Esav could not handle pure oil. Whatever you do, just don't have pure oil. And we're fixing that. He managed to stab him, and the left leg is called Hoyd, and that's what Hanukkah is. It's a whole thing. But to know we're doing so many things. Whatever you do, just try to stay in Hanukkah. Because there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Try to stay away, and it's mentioned actually in the poskim, stay away at all costs, in general, but definitely on Hanukkah, from gambling and card games.
The gelt
is not gambling. Dreidel is not gambling. That was another one of this fake news that popped in, like the pay dreidels, which stands for puzzle. If we start with the dreidels, we'll be here all night. But I could begin. The gelt, there is such a thing to give Hanukkah gelt. This is not like, 8 days of presents. Because, we feel bad. Other people are giving presents. That's not what this is. In fact, the old way was that we gave our kids gelt. Gelt means money. And it's interesting, this is not a plug, that you would pay the teachers during Hanukkah. They would give them their gelt. Why would they do that? Because gelt is kesef. Gelt is kesef. What is silver? What does kesef mean? Kesef means kisuf, kisufin. Like koech soif. What's koech sof? God, I am yearning, I'm pining. For what? For you, Hashem. Kesef, money, we'll talk about this more next week. We're going to talk more about, because everybody wants to know about Jewish money secrets. And really the secret is just to use your money wisely for good things. Is that kesef is really a way that crystallizes everything that you desire. And therefore, you could tell a lot about what a person desires by looking at his purchases. looking at the way a guy spends money, you see what his inner desire is. You see what's important, what he values. So why was that the time that they would pay those that were teaching? To show that Torah is the value that we have. And we give our kids kesef during this time to teach them, my holy children, use this wisely. Use this, that it should be a source of a light in the world. Use your kesef in a way that's going to build God a palace in this world. The whole thing of gambling with the dreidel is literally not done. It's not done in the big circles. This is something that crept in later, like the paid dreidels. Because the whole thing of the dreidel was always that it's a nun and a shin and a gimel and a hey. There's no pay. So I want to take you into the parsha for a minute, because something happens in Vayigash. Something very interesting happens. Vayeshe, but Vayigash is the end. It's the end of Chanukah comes to Vayigash. Is that what happens in Vayigash? Vayigash is the time. What goes on? It's 2:51. This is the reunification that Binyamin is taken. And then Yehuda steps up and he says, if I don't bring home Binyamin, I'm cooked. I'm clipped from this world and the world to come. And he steps up, and then Yosef identifies himself and he says, Ani Yosef, ha'oida v'chai. I am Yosef. And then Yosef says, I was only doing this to help you fix all the things, and that you should know that the dream came true, and that the dreamer was right, and that you had to go through this. And then he says, send for our father to come down. And then what happens? He sends, and then who goes? Yehuda goes and sets up Levi, and sets up a yeshiva. And Yosef says, I'm going to dedicate a certain part of Egypt where you could just steig, and you'll learn and you'll grow, and you won't be involved in Erevus Haaretz. And he sends him to Goshen. He sends him to the land of Goshen, right? And Goshen becomes this place, this oasis of Torah learning, this oasis of goodness, of blessing. And this becomes a place that will be hope. That even though the Jewish people knew that they had to go down to Mitzrayim all the way from Avram, that there would be this prophecy, that they would have to go through certain purification like gold going through a crucible to refine out. But we would have Goshen, we'd have Goshen, and Goshen would be the place that we would grow spiritually, and we would be able to maintain the Kihem Chayenu, which is our life, the Torah. But do you know where he was sending us to? He was sending us to Goshen. Goshen is the letters, a Gimel, a Shin, a Nun, a Hey, the letters of the dreidel. He was just Goshen. You'll see in the Psukim. He was sending us to go to a world where the dreidel exists. Because you know what the dreidel is? The dreidel is a place that I understand that no matter how things fall, because the different letters signify different things, and it would take us a lot more time to go into the different letters. But no matter how things fall, I could always pick up the dreidel and spin again. And Gimel is Gans, and everything is good, and Hey is Hald, when things are chetzi chetzi, like they say. And the Nun is Nisht, when you feel like you're not producing, you're not doing anything in life. But there's something even more challenging, the Shin, Schnell, we have to put something in. And you feel like you're mamish, just being drained and sapped of all your power. And the power of Torah is you pick up the dreidel and you spin it again. and there's always hope. Because the Torah pulls you back up. There's always hope. And of course, Goshen is the same gematria, the same numerical value as Mashiach. Because in that place of Torah learning in Goshen is Mashiach. And it's the same numerical value as the Nochash, as the snake. Because Mashiach is going to come and destroy the snake. And therefore, we were not sent down to Gopna with a pei. We're sent down to Goshen with a shin. We're sent to a place of Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Yimloich, Gematria Mashiach, Gematria, Goshen. That Hashem, you're the king, you were the king, and you forever will be the king. That a Yid could pick up a dreidel and spin it again. And you know the 4 sides of the dreidel correspond to the 4 exiles of the Jewish people. Like the Bnei Yisachar goes into. And in a world where there's a dreidel and there's sides, and there's exile and there's difficulty, I could start to feel like I'm giving up hope. You know the secret my Rabbi always says of the dreidel? Is the dreidel is square. But when you spin the dreidel, you turn a square into a circle. You're turning squares into circles. And the circle is one. The Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. So there's always the dreidel, and that's coming from Torah, is that I have to know this tremendous hope and the power of the dreidel. And so the tzaddikim would sit with the dreidel. It was a big thing by them to spin the dreidel. Dafka dreidel out of wood, there's such a thing. A much longer Torah, the top of the dreidel, the bottom of the dreidel. There's a lot going on. Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David. And that's all happening, the hope that in the middle of Erevus Haaretz, of Goshen, that there's going to be this place, there's going to be a dreidel that's going to give us hope. And Rabbi Nachman has the dreidel, the Torahs of the dreidel. The whole world is just a big dreidel. The dreidel is the oldest Jewish meditation tool. The dreidel is the oldest Jewish meditation tool. And that's why the fake news story they told you, remember that one? They were in the caves and we were learning Torah and put away the Torah and we're just playing nothing, we're just spitting little tops. So we think they stopped learning Torah and were playing games. They went and were learning deeper Torah, the Torah, the dreidel.
I always like what I was saying.
They were learning the Torah, the dreidel Torahs. They were mamish stooping it to the ancient Greeks. Like you think we're not learning? We're learning even deeper Torahs now. We're learning mamish Mashiach Torahs. We're learning Goshen Torahs right now. Because where the Jews went in Mitzrayim and set up a yeshiva, the dreidel is the yeshiva. It's just the secrets of Torah. Because Chanukah is all about the Pnimius of Torah. It's all about the Kabbalah. It's all about the inner light. It's not just the information like we've been talking about tonight. The dreidel is the light of Chanukah. The dreidel. That's why while you're sitting by the candles, you spin the dreidel. That is the Torah. That is the Torah. It's the Torah of the dreidel. It's a meditation type of Torah. Who told you that? Maybe it's fake news. So Rabbi said we should be zoicha mamish to all the bracha of the Torah. We should be zoicha mamish to the light of Chanukah. So we'll sing now just a song, because this song is the song of Maus. So we'll just sing the niggin, and you all grew up with this niggin, and this is the niggin, and it goes like this. Yai dai 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 dai. Hey yai dai 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 dai. Hey yai dai 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 dai. Hey yai dai 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 dai. Hey yai dai 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 dai. Shabbos.